Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Keep Austin Film Podcast. Joining me today is Hollis Edwards, the third actor extraordinaire. Thanks for joining me on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me, brother. Yeah.
I've been seeing you around town a whole lot. I've been seeing you up on the big screen a whole lot. We've actually worked together on a film set called Relic Dragon, where you were the star.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about that experience, how you got involved with that, and what you thought about the on-set experience.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I got involved because of Dakota Millette. He just hit me up on Instagram one day. Was like, "Hey, man, we have some auditions going on. We have a couple of people already, going through the ringer. You want to, kind of put your bid in?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. I'll send in a self tape," and so sent that in. Got the call back. Did the call back, and then and that they casted me from there as Luis.
Nice.
But it was super fun. As soon as I did the, whether I got it or not, I knew it was going to be a good, film or experience for whoever was involved. Just because seeing Josh Logan, the director, seeing him being so involved in just the audition process, in the sense of like, he wants there's a certain, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's certain events that happened in the script, and he wanted to really see this sort of transformation of character at one point, and it just allowed me as an actor to be able to just fully go there. And he was just like, oh yeah, okay.
This is during the audition?
Yeah, during the audition. He's like, yeah, keep going. I was like, bet. And then did that. And Taylor was there. She's the lead of the whole film. Taylor Beanie, fantastic actress. Yeah, she was there. I think Richard might have been there.
Okay.
But for sure Taylor was there, and read with her. I think Richard too, because I read with him as well. And Richard's great. And I knew, but specifically Josh being so in it, I was like, yeah, he's cool.
He's good people. Yeah, I'm gonna have to have him on the podcast here soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, that's really cool. So, I don't really know a whole lot about you, which is kind of what's the point of this podcast. It's kind of fun to get to know you.
Right.
And I'm curious, we have a lot of people nowadays who get into acting because they want to be celebrities, but they don't really so much care that much about the craft, I've noticed, But when I've seen you on set, I could tell that you're like an actor's actor. Like, how did you get involved in all of this?
Oh man, well, when I was a wee lad, I started, I guess technically, psychologically involved in it. I was like maybe 6 or 7 or something, and we would have family reunions, and we had one where we had a talent show, and my mom wanted me to, because I would do little voices. I do like Crocodile Dundee and British voices. I'm like, oh, good night, mate. Oh, let's get a little closer. And she's like, do your little voices for your talent show. I was like, well, I don't know. What? And she's like, if you're scared, just turn around. So I was like, okay. So got my little mic and then turn around. I was like, oh, good night, mate. Oh, yeah, good night. And then I kind of got more comfortable. I was like, okay, this ain't too bad. And I turned around. Oh, good night, mate. Oh. And then from there on out, I never really got embarrassed by anything. And then started doing theater when I was in like proper elementary school or whatever. So just did theater throughout primary school. All that good stuff. And then when I was in high school, I did a play called Boys Next Door, and that was the first time I had completely lost myself in the character. I was like 11th grade or something like that, because it was about a group of severely mentally challenged grown men of varying degrees and conditions. With mine, the character's name was Lucian P. Smith, and he had the mentality of like a 3-year-old. And my teacher at the time, Miss Gowie, Miss G, shout out Miss G.
Shout out.
She's great. She is wonderful. She also has a beautiful young son who has a similar condition, and so she was like, you got to be serious about doing this. She's like, she's a very straightforward kind of person. She's like, you little fucks. I don't know if I cuss, but she's like, you little fucks. You better make sure you don't mess this up. Okay, I don't want you to turn this into a farce or just high schoolers making fun. No. And so she made us kind of do our own due diligence, and I went and kind of just hung out with people who had that condition and kind of, visited some of those homes and stuff like that. And then, that was the first time I lost myself in character. And I was like, oh, I could do this forever.
All right, nice.
Yeah, so, and then fast forward, moved to Austin, did the grind of, just doing short films and student films, mainly just little student films and stuff like that here and there, whatever I could, music videos, whatever, to build the reel. And then I, got my agent in like 2019. And then from then on out, that's when I started getting like, work, commercials and more professional short films and whatnot. And then, yeah.
So what do you think? I know a lot of actors who are in endless classes, and I'm not an actor, so I don't know much about that. Do you think the classes have value, or do you think it's better just to get on set?
I'll put it this way. Oh, well, I mean, if you had to choose between the two, on set all day. Yeah.
Right.
If you put it that way, if you put it like between classes and on set.
Yeah. I guess I asked you a two-parter, eh?
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, just get on set all day.
Yeah.
If you're saying like, just overall, I think it's always valuable to do classes. I think it depends on where you're starting from. You know what I mean? Like, I'm biased because I grew up in theater, and so I just be telling people like, look, if you're a brand new actor, like people go, oh yeah, I want to get into it. What do you think? And I'm like, do you have any experience? No. Try out theater because the only real, like, in my opinion, I'm biased, but the hurdles you have to get over from going from theater to film is not as bad as the other way around.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Okay.
Now it could just be me, feeling that way, but it feels like the main thing you have to do as a theater actor is just learn to tone it down.
Okay.
Which if you think about it, like, you know what I mean? So if you think about a metaphor of like a stereo, right? I mean, this is like kind of aging myself, but like, an old school stereo with like a knob and shit like that. Like, it can only go up to so much. Say it can go to 20. Cool. You got all the way to 20. It's pretty loud. But if you need to turn it down, all right, you just turn it down.
Interesting.
You might get used to listening to 20, blasting in your car at 20, everything, but it's like, just turn it down. But if it doesn't work the other way around, if your stereo only goes to 10, now you got to make a bunch of like modifications to try to get it to 11 or 12 or 30, you know what I mean, to go more. And if you're doing professional theater especially, you have to be able to project and be bigger in like physically, but also emotionally. You have to also be able to dig very, very deep and project that onto the audience without being like, a caricature or cliche or something like, I'm going to, like, you don't want to do all that. Like, that's kind of like the stereotype of it, right? But if you're doing like some kind of deep theater or something, or Shakespeare, like this dude, this one great actor, Mark Pouchet, excellent actor. He's a deep Shakespearean, like theaters actor, you know what I mean? And he's able to, whenever he's doing his roles, be that character and like be big as he needs to for the, so everybody can physically hear and see what he's doing, but also it's always super believable. And you're always like, yeah, I believe that guy is that thing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I just recommend, do some theater, and you'll learn the lessons from theater. Also, shit like line memorization, much more important in theater because it's you don't have any cuts. You don't have any of that.
Right.
You just go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You rehearse, and then you go. Now, granted, I'm not saying that theater is harder necessarily, because there's many. Because you'd be, why aren't we seeing all these theater actors just doing film then? Because maybe, playing devil's advocate against myself, maybe it isn't so easy to make that transfer from theater to film if you're used to just repping it with theater.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, man. I grew up, even though I'm not an actor now, I grew up acting, and I did theater and in front of the camera. And I thought in front of the camera was even more daunting. There's something about this soulless lens that's just always on your face, Yeah. Whereas theater, you get the butterflies before you go out. You have all the eyes on you. But once it's time to go, it's just, there's no stopping,
Yeah.
But in front of the camera, you can do it again and again and again until you get it right, assuming you have the budget and the time.
Right. No, that's a good point, though. Like, you have the camera, right? When I first started doing film acting, that was like, I was used to it because me and my homies would do like skits and shit, growing up. And so, but in terms of on a professional set, it's kind of daunting. It's like, especially when it's like fucking right there and you're like, you still gotta deliver the. When you first get into it, it's definitely weird. Like, I agree.
Does the job feel different to you based on the budget of the project that you're working on? Like, do you feel any more pressure on the higher budget projects than you would say like your buddy's indie?
Right. Um, I say when I first started getting them for sure, but after you start getting them, then it's like I definitely. Anytime there's, I'll say it this way: anytime there's a new thing that I haven't done, that's when it's like, ooh,
Okay.
I need to make sure. Which you should always be like, make sure that you're on. That's my philosophy. Is just like at least at the very least for the thing when you're doing something you love, you should always be on for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Always doing your best at the very least. But yeah, if it's something new, that's when maybe I'll do a little extra preparation or a little extra, or maybe spend time doing one thing. Whereas if it's something I'm used to, I might have spent the time doing something else.
Gotcha.
Like, well, for example, when I first got on a professional set, it was like just the little things of lingo and knowing where to, you know what I mean, and shit like that. And it was like, okay, let me do some extra research. So when I get on it, first day, I can at least, be more comfortable with being on this new experience. But it's still in the back of my head, like,
Yeah. But I like it because it sounds like the job is the job, and you're going to prepare the same way you would. I mean, you're saying you're going to do extra research for different roles, but depending on the budget, the job is the same.
Yeah, the job is the same. Yeah, I'm gonna treat it. Now, I'll say nowadays, if somebody tries to get me to do like a student film or something like that, I'm still more or less open to it. I guess. It really depends on what the project is, and that's more on a business side of the thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, I could do something, but I could be spending this time, elsewhere if it is, a student thing and there's no like something behind it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or I don't know, just something. And then in that case, I'll be like, there's expectations that now that I've been on professional sets that I just expect now.
Right.
Which is, well, that's just, like something, it seems dumb, but crafty. Crafty. It's just a very basic thing, but it's very necessary. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So that's just something I'm like, yeah, this should just be on set.
Right.
But, again, you have to look at what project you're doing. If you agree to do a student thing and you feel like, oh, I don't think I need to do student things anymore. Okay, well, you can't necessarily be, unless like you join under false circumstances. Like you thought it was gonna maybe be one thing. You're like, okay, like, hey, you got me. That happens sometimes. You know, it's happened to me.
You've been scammed into a job?
I wouldn't say scam, but just like a lot of like, oh, this looks good on paper, and then you get into it, you're like, oh, this is much more of a student thing than I thought.
Right. Oh, yeah. I know
what
I
mean? And it's like,
somehow you end up producing it on accident.
yeah. And this guy, thankfully, I didn't have to do any of that, but and it turned out great. It turned out to be excellent. The whole project is really good and really well done, and it's just miscommunication, type of deal. But outside of that, then it's like, yeah, you know what you're getting into, so you can't just be going to either a student or just a no budget thing and being like, ooh, like too much.
Yep.
Because it's like, well, I mean, you know what you're getting into, which is why you have to kind of make that decision for yourself. It's like, do I take any of these things? But where I'm at in my career, I'm like, there's some things where I'll be like, yeah, I'll do that, like, especially if it was with fellow artists who I work with on other stuff.
Right.
And so I know they do good stuff. So then it's like, oh, well, I know this person is like doing their thing and they're about their business. So even if this thing is like low budget or no budget, if I just think that there could be something, even maybe not out of this project, but I know that they're doing their thing, like, oh, this person's been doing this and this. Cool, fuck it, bro. Like, I respect you, especially if I work with you or I've heard about you in the small circle that is Austin. I'm sure LA is similar in a slightly bigger sense in terms of community. Then I'm like, yeah, I'm down to fuck around because I know it's, even if it is no budget, you're gonna do it well. You're gonna do it, you know what I mean? And it's gonna look good, and then probably realistically on the business side, it's like, oh, well, again, maybe either this person is already has momentum themselves, and even if the project you're doing isn't necessarily gonna be oh my God, so it's this big thing that blows up. It's like, okay, but maybe this person does something that blows them up. And it's like, yeah, well, hey, I remember when you worked with me on this one project that had nothing. I'm doing this next thing, woo woo. And I do the same for other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, hey, man, I'm doing this thing right now that's not really got any budget for it, but like Ninja Killface, that's honestly like we're doing a fundraiser right now, and so I'm like, hey, you guys, all the fighters, if y'all want to come on, do a cool thing, how can I serve you on this in terms of what can you get out of it, and if there's something you think you can get out of it, then cool, let's do it, and then obviously fundraising comes in, and do what you will with that, but then when I'm doing something else that's on a bigger budget that actually is the people who was actually fucking with me, I'm like, hey, yo, I'm doing this thing now. Or, Killface, the feature or whatever, gets, and then it's like, hey, you want to come and be a fighter again? Or you want to come, and now we actually do have the proper whatever to, where I'm on something. So it's like, that's why I like Austin in general. It's like a very communicative, sort of environment. Everybody is very much like open and, at least everybody I talk to, I don't know. I hear people talking mad mess about the state of these people are doing this and this. I don't know. I just try to associate myself with good people.
Okay. What's the message here? I'm curious. Because I'm on the board with you. I think the community here is really strong. So I'm curious.
It's just every so often you might hear somebody like, oh man, I feel like I can't work with nobody, blah blah blah. Just like
Okay.
in a conversation, a convention, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like
people think maybe it's like more of like a close knit community, or
yeah. I just have the feeling it's people who maybe haven't been here long or something, and so maybe they're not getting what they immediately thought they were supposed to be getting, or I don't know.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, just kind of passing by. Kinda, like,
Well, you brought up Ninja Killface, and we just had Sasha Boggs on the podcast not long ago, and she was talking about doing the crowdfunding for that. How did you get involved with that whole crew in that project?
Oh right. Well, funny enough, actually, it was through my homegirl, Leah Sampson, wonderful comedian. Check her out, up in New York doing her thing. But she had like this bachelorette parody sketch essentially that she was shooting, and she had me hop in as one of the potentials, And Daryl was behind the camera the whole time, so we chopped it up throughout the day. And then he was like, "Hey man, I want to put you in some stuff. Like you seem cool, and I always put my friends and stuff, and et cetera, et cetera." I'm like, "All right, cool." And then he hits me up and takes me to LA to basically get vomited on for a feature he did called the Lonelier but Sadder but Wiser Boy, rather. And then I forgot if it was like the next year or several months later, but he hits me up and he was like, "Hey, you want to be this Ninja Killface character?" I'm like, "Sure." And then we that one was super like just guerrilla style, like one of us behind the camera and at a certain point switching the camera, but between people and but he saw that I was doing more and more stunts. Like, "Oh, can you do any kind of fight stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've been doing martial arts since I was a kid. I do stunt martial arts fighting on camera." He's like, "Oh shit, okay, cool." Did that. He's like, "Hey, can you jump off of that thing?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a stunt person. I can." He's like, "Hey, can you like drift a car maybe?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a certified stunt driver." Like, just and he's like, "Oh, okay." And so we just kind of kept building from there. And then he went on to do Frank Burnett versus Ninja Killface, which again co-stars Taylor Beatty, wonderful actress, and then P. Michael Hayes, who's also great. And that was like a detective neo-noir. And then that gets into Frank Burnett versus Ninja Killface, which is like a indie culmination film kind of deal, but mainly like an exercise of getting more eyes on like the biggest kind of thing Daryl's done, and being like, hey, now let's actually try to get investment, and et cetera, et cetera.
That's awesome. Well, as you were talking about that, you mentioned being a detective, and I've seen you be a detective in another film, The Basil King.
Yeah, Basil King. Yeah.
And it's one of the fun things about doing this podcast is we had Taylor on, we had Shilava on, who are the star and the producer of the series, and it's so fun to me to see how everybody's interconnected in this like Austin community. It's tight knit enough that it's not hard to see all the connections. How did you get involved with those folks?
Yeah, I mean, how did I? I think I did Ninja Killface. Taylor was in the first Ninja Killface. He got killed.
Nice.
And I think somewhere around that time he reached out and was like, "Hey man, you want to like audition for one of the detective roles we have?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And I auditioned, did the callback, and then yeah, they made me one of the detectives. And
Very funny, by the way.
oh, thanks.
Yeah. You do a lot of comedy, or is that kind of one of your first outings in the comedy world?
Oh no, I'm a goofy goober. I've
Okay.
been I actually do stand up every like now and then, just
Really?
very lazily, not enough to call myself like a comic because I'm not putting in that kind of work that they are.
Okay,
But
cool.
enough to where I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You gonna do a minute on Kill Tony?
I think well, first I'm gonna get back in. I wanted to before I go to Africa, I'm gonna get just a little bit back into the stand up scene. Just be like, all right, I have no excuse. I've been writing jokes. I never stopped writing jokes, so I'm like, I might as well just get back into it. But yeah, stand up, and then like I said, me and my homies would do sketches growing up, and they were comedic sketches. So, yeah, it's weird. I've always in real life people know me as like a silly person.
Yeah.
And then I'll just get these roles where it's like super dramatic, where I'm like some super introvert or awkward or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but no, that was fun. So that to me, that was just, oh yeah, cool. We doing comedy? All right, cool. Let's
Nice.
get it. I got you.
Well, I want to touch on something that you said very nonchalantly that people don't often say very nonchalantly is right before I go back to Africa. Like, what is going on in Africa?
Oh yeah. I'm going to Africa to shoot my first international feature.
Nice.
So I'll be going there. The film's called "I'm Coming for You," but it's a French title. And this brilliant filmmaker named Cyrielle Rangel, I hope I'm not butchering her name. Cece, I call her Cece. So,
Yeah.
but professional name Cyrielle Rangel. But she actually did my first, like, fully staffed, like short.
Okay.
Kind of like, this is a fully organized thing, like,
Yeah.
and that was also her first thing as well. And she was in here like on a student visa or something, and I don't know, she got paid by the university to do it. But yeah, she went on to do very well, and apparently, and she did this documentary that got into Rotterdam. It won at Rotterdam, which is a big festival internationally, and that led her to getting involved with Studio Canal, and so now she's making this film, and she hit me up. It was like, hey, you wanna be in this audition and stuff for this film that I got going on? I'm like, yeah, sure, yeah, totally. So same process. It seems like it's kind of a pattern, right? Like, call or text. You want to audition? Sure. Da, da, da. And then yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll be going to Africa from like October 15th to December 15th to act. I'll also be doing stunt coordination on the film as well.
Very cool.
But yeah, I gotta learn French, so that's
It's
what
an
I've been
easy
doing.
language. It's not hard.
Super easy,
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah.
The hard part about French is that if you're doing it well, it sounds like you're making fun of the language.
It kind of, yeah, that's a good point. It kind of, yeah. It kind of does, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting the structure of it down, like, pretty decent. Like, I can say, like, I would like, je voulais préparer le roast beef pour le dîner.
Yeah.
Avez-vous préparé le café? Je voulais réserver une chambre pour 2 personnes. Parce que parce que si c'est romantique, I forgot which. I don't know.
Oh God, now I'm gonna have to subtitle this.
All right, yeah, I don't know. It was decent, but all I was talking about was like I would like to make a roast beef for the dinner because, and I would like to reserve a room for 2 because it is romantic or just basic stuff.
Yeah.
But the script's in French, so I gotta learn.
Nice. You did much better than me. I shot a film in France, and I don't speak a lick of French. And it was in French.
Oh yeah, how did it go?
Well, the director was also the lead actress, and so she would ask me, "How was it?" I was like, "It was good, I guess."
Yeah, right. How you gonna ask me, girl? You the one speaking all the French.
I'm like, I'm shooting it. Looks good.
Looks good, yeah.
No, that'll be a lot of fun, man. So
yeah, thanks, man.
So
Yeah.
a French film in Africa.
Yeah, because it's in Cameroon, and I guess Cameroon they all speak French. Well, I mean, colonialization.
Yeah.
But so yeah, they speak French over there, and actually, I got to learn a specific dialect from Cameroon that's apparently only in orally spoken. It's only in oral language, I guess, or dialect. So there's no like writing on, which is fine because I've been learning this French stuff just through listening anyway.
Yeah. Nice.
So. Anyway,
so no
yeah,
Duolingo
Africa.
for you.
I have some other apps. I think Pilsner or something.
Okay.
I checked out. I used to love Duolingo, but they started like charging, and then like if you try to, like if you mess up too many times, you can't play for like another 6-7 hours unless you get the paid version or whatever. And I'm like, y'all tripping, bro. Just let me get my goddamn. But I'm using this thing called it's a Spotify course actually. That's the main thing.
Cool.
It's 12 hours long. This guy, Paul Noble. It's just like French by Paul Noble. I don't know. And I just looked up, learning French on Spotify. It's been helping.
Nice.
I don't know if it's like dude is just oops, I'm sorry, messing with my mic. I don't know if I don't know if dude is just really good at explaining the sort of just the structure of things. He's like, you don't have to memorize. You don't have to. I will bring it up later on in the audio description. Just listen and just go. And I'm like, okay, cool. And it's working.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's that or it's just when I was throughout school, primary school, horrible at learning language. I only got through Spanish in high school because this nice brother let me copy off of the shit. Because he had to go to, he was like very serious about like stuff. He's like, yo, I have to go for band stuff for like a week. Can you just take some notes for me? I would be very grateful. I'm like, yeah, man, I don't care. I mean, I'm taking notes anyway. I just don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm horrible at just remember. I couldn't pay attention. And then he gets back. I had some like decent notes. They're not great. And then he's like, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice.
Whatever if you ever need to cheat on me, you can do it. I'm like, shit, bro, thanks. And then anytime I need to cheat, test time, I'm like, I had a method, you know what I mean? I've developed methods, so I'm just sitting there like, See, you gotta prime them. I would prime up the teacher beforehand, like I'm tired, and I'm just like, fuck, I'm just stressed out, fucking test. And so as soon as we get on this, I'm just like this, oh man.
Yeah.
So then when test gets there,
Right.
I'm just like, oh God,
Yeah.
But really, I'm looking over here, and then he know the deal, and then he'd be like, oh. And he just kind of put his arm down, and I'm like, yeah.
Nice. Well, now it sounds
Gracias.
like you're doing the work, though, because you're learning the language, you're doing the thing, and it's really paying off, man, because I've been seeing you all over the place lately, and it's one of the reasons I'm excited to have you on the podcast, because it seems like your star is really rising, and I'm curious, like, do you agree with that? How does it feel, kind of becoming one of these, growing names in Austin?
Oh, thanks, brother, and I appreciate it, by the way. For me, yeah, I guess I'm still like focused on the mission, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm very sort of secular, you know what I mean, in how I just approach life in general. So I'm very much like, let me see it, and then I will, either let me see it or let me get enough information to then come to an assessment, come to a logical conclusion based on whatever it is. But for this is like, yeah, the seeing it is having, other people, whether it's sometimes random people and people who I already respect like yourself, being like, hey, you're kind of, doing your thing. It's like, okay. And one of my homegirls actually recently told me, Bells Mundi, she's actually South African. Shout out to Bells. But she was like, Hollis, you are greatness. You are full of greatness. And she starts, boosting me up, which I don't like talking about myself like that. I don't do that. I've always tried I've been humbled by life enough to not, to not be that kind of person. But it's kind of feelings-wise kind of gotten to a point to where it's like, okay, well, there is a time where you have to kind of flip that switch of, like, I'm a self-confident person for sure, but flip switch of, oh, you are one of those guys now or those girls now, if you're, or whatever you identify as, you know what I mean? And it's weird, and this whole industry is weird, like in that, like that, even social media, like Instagram for me is weird. Like I keep a decent social media presence. I post my projects, and it's cool, but I never messed with Instagram except for memes. Before I started getting momentum, I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing enough projects now to where, I got some short films. Okay, I guess we'll start,
Yeah.
And it works. Like it's that's what you're supposed to do these days. You have to keep your stuff updated. You have to be a public presence if you are in a public facing career. Like you don't really have a choice.
Yeah.
If you want to make a living out of it, you know what I mean? Like if you want to, then yeah, you do it for the art, and that's what propels you. That's what gets you to where people are like, oh yeah, because you're doing it for the love of the game. But outside of that, it's like, well, no matter how much you love the game, you have to still play the game
Right.
a little bit. So it feels like, yeah, I am starting to, I guess, walk around with that sort of, air about oneself. In terms of the logistics of it, yeah, I'd say with the Relic, I'm Coming for You, and potentially this film by a good friend, Jekka Bittner. She's a great writer.
Shout out to Jekka.
Shout out to Jekka. Wonderful, wonderful soul. She's just so fun. But she told me she's doing the film, and she had cast me for it. So I'm waiting on NDA to speak more on it and to even know specifically what she's what's going on with that. Mm-hmm. But if that goes through, which I'm sure it will, but if that goes through, because she usually follows through in everything she does, that the Relic and the I'm Coming for You, those will be for me those sort of career boosters.
Yep.
To where it's like, yeah, now I am like even just random people are like, oh, I've seen that dude, I think. Mm-hmm. Oh wait, weren't you on? Oh yeah, that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my hope is that everybody I work with, though, like we were talking about earlier, everybody who I fuck with, everybody who I work with, that they also kind of get the benefits of that as well. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Even to this point where it's like, say I have my little blow up or start to, have like some bubbling, like more so to where it's like, oh, Relic maybe gets in theaters, or for sure the Studio Canal thing gets in theaters internationally, and then I become like a name or whatever. Maybe that boosts somebody else over here who I work with who already was also on their come up, because they say, oh, they were in this thing with Hollis, and then now they do a thing. Maybe their thing gets shot up above mine in terms of like status or eyeballs or whatever, but. Cool. Now I know the guy that fucking is, you know what I mean, or the girl that's doing that, right. And then so everybody's fucking winning. That's why I like you're talking about the web of things, and how it's a very close knit community, and how does it feel to be kind of coming up in that. That's how it feels in terms of the logistics of it and how I want it to be. Mm-hmm. I want it to be like, yeah, sure, I'm coming up. That's a means to an end. Right. Like whatever. Yeah, I have to be known. I have to, and it feels nice. And well, it didn't even feel nice. Like I said, for me, it feels awkward. Like I have to adjust to being the. It's weird to say, but it's kind of like adjusting to being the person that people see you as.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do. Yeah.
It's not necessarily like you're trying to put on like, oh, no, people see you as this because they see something in you, and you're still just doing you, but you have to, that part of yourself now, you have to, hey, you got to step into it, player, type of deal. You know what I mean? It's like, I know you just want to be like doing your acting. Hey, look, I'm just kind of, it's like, no, you need to still be that, still be, I'm not going to stop being silly. I'm not going to stop, all of that. But just kind of walking around like, instead of answering a question like how do you think you're a good actor? I'm like, yeah, I'm a good actor. But there's plenty of good actors out there. Mm-hmm. And answering, which honestly is more truthful in terms of how I personally feel. Like, do you think you're a good actor? No, I think I'm one of the best.
There you go.
That kind of deal.
I love it. So speaking of that, and I could talk to you. This could be a 3-hour podcast, unfortunately.
Right? Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah.
But I kind of want to finish off with something, maybe a piece of advice you'd give to aspiring actors, or maybe actors new to Austin. Something you might tell them, that you wish you would have known when you're in that position.
Wish I would have known. I'd say specifically in terms of just. Again, just the logistics of things. As a new actor, do student films and do thesis films specifically. My homie, well, Joe,
Marks?
Joe. Well, I guess there's a bunch of Joes. Joe Lee.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Joe. He's the one that told me that because he did. Fun fact: Joe Lee did my first headshots, my first professional headshot.
Nice.
He was like $50. He was like, anyway.
Shout out Joe.
Shout out Joe. But yeah, he was like, yeah, you need to do student thesis films. By that point, I had already started submitting for my agent. But I was like, man, I wish I would have known this when I was first, like, on the grind. 'Cause I'm just like, where do I get? I don't know. So yeah, I'd say if you're new, do student thesis films if you can, and just student films in general. It's a great way to just get your face on camera.
Will that help you get experience on set? Will it help you get an agent? What's
Oh, specific. Oh, fair enough. So what it does is you do a student film, especially if you do a thesis film, because a thesis film is done by there's essentially professional filmmakers, fledgling professional filmmakers, and that's their final grade. So they are going to try their damnedest to make sure everything is on point. And even in casting, they're going to be a little bit looser, in a sense, because they don't have that many options.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like they're not gonna be like, well, we need somebody that's they're like, who fits the character the best, which is how they should be doing anyway at a professional level. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So it helps you get physical footage to put on your reel, and then it also gives you set experience. Yeah, specifically for the thesis films, because again, they're a little bit more less like pre-professional stuff.
Right.
And sometimes, honestly, I've seen student thesis films that are better than professional films.
Nah, sure.
So you know what I mean?
YouTube's putting out some good stuff.
They be putting out some good shit. So if you're in the Austin area, yeah, check that out. If you're new to Austin, I'd say, man, just if you're new to Austin, you already have experience. Just be open and be willing to talk. My homie JC David has a good saying because he also has podcasts and stuff. It's called "People Meeting People Making Memories," and I'm like, that's a good ass saying because I'm like, yeah, come here, meet people, have fun, make memories with folks. And in doing so, you will get the connections that you need. You know what I'm saying? But don't come here with that. I haven't experienced too much myself. I've only done a little bit of work in LA, and I already have somewhat of a small community over there of people, and they're all great. But I've also seen and heard, and even just when we go to events, people are like, hey, how you doing? So who do you know? Who's your agent? Oh, yeah, I'm with, it's like straight to that. I'm like, can we just chop it up for a little bit? God damn, man. Like, getting right to like, do you have anything that's useful to me? No? Well, okay, bye. Like,
well, nobody can talk about the weather in LA because it's always the same.
Right, it's perfect. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, you got to talk about some actual conversation.
Who are you? What do you do? What do you drive?
Yeah, that's what I'm like, man, don't bring that shit to Austin. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Just come here like we doing right now. Just have a conversation, man. Like even this, like we're doing a interview style thing, but it's still very like, hey, we're chilling, we're casual,
Right.
Like adjust to Austin's energy. Don't try to change it. Yeah, I mean,
that's great advice.
Yeah, and then you'll be fine.
Rock and roll, man. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. I think this was a great episode. I really enjoyed, some of the insight that you gave us. And there's a lot of cool projects you're working on. I'm excited to see come out. Relic in particular, since I worked with you on that one.
Yeah.
And I'm just, want to give you the opportunity for folks at home who want to follow you and see what you're working on. How can they do that?
Yeah, for sure. So you can follow me on Instagram. That's my main source of interaction with everything. It's at Hollis L Edwards, HOLLIS LEDWARDS. You can also find me on YouTube under STFU Hollis. I have some sketches on there. Haven't made it in a while, but you want to watch some stuff. And then I think my what do you call it? TikTok, as the kids say.
Yep.
I think it's also just Hollis L Edwards. So you can follow me on those platforms. Check out the trailer for Relic Dragon on YouTube. Check out the trailer for Frank Burnett versus Ninja Killface on Seed and Spark and on YouTube. Seed and Spark if you like to donate or just spread the word. And then check out Ciriel Rangel, Reinga, Reinga. I don't know. Check out Ciriel. She's doing stuff. She has a dope documentary out. That's
Awesome.
That's about all I got.
That's a good amount of things, man. Well, thanks so much
brother.
for coming out and joining me on the
Appreciate it. Thanks for
podcast, man.
having
That
me,
was
bro.
great. And thank you everybody at home for joining us. I hope you enjoyed that podcast. Follow him. If this comes out in time for that Seed and Spark campaign, make sure to go and check that out. That's Frank Barnett versus Ninja Killface. And I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, everybody.